Sanbonani, Dumelang, and Apsheni. Welcome back, guys. So, I'm new in this thing. I made notes. So, today I'm just going to be talking to us about a purpose driven life. So, I've realized that most of us, especially when you're in your 20s, that's the time where you just sit alone and with God and just pester God and say, God, what is my purpose in life? That's the time where sometimes, okay, I don't know about you guys, but speaking about myself, sometimes I just feel so confused because I want to know, like, there are people like Paul in the Bible. He knew exactly what God had called him to do. Like, he would say that he's been called to preach the good news to the Gentiles and all of that. He knew exactly. And I just have another example of Joseph. Remember that Joseph is the guy who was having dreams when he was young, of ruling, and then of his family coming to bow before him. Just, it's like those things that God had revealed, just something about his purpose. So I find myself at some times asking myself and even asking God, God, what is my purpose in life? God, what is my purpose in life? Because I have this fear. I know that fear is not of God and all of that. I have this fear of not wanting to live a life that I'm not called for. You know what I'm saying? Where you live according to people's expectations, you live according to situations and circumstances that you go through. So that's just one thing that I don't want to live like that. I want to know what I'm living for, and most importantly, I want to live in the purpose that God has called me. So as I was just thinking about this, I remember there was a time when I went for a prayer meeting, and then in that prayer meeting we were praying in pairs, and then my prayer partner asked me what I want her to pray for me, and then I told her that I want God to reveal my purpose to me. And she said to me, no, God is not gonna necessarily reveal it to you like that. Just because he revealed it to Paul in that way, don't expect that it is going to be the same thing with you. So she said to me, sometimes God will reveal a glimpse of, okay, this, yeah, a glimpse of what your purpose is, not necessarily the big thing, like he did for Paul. So as I'm thinking about that, it makes sense. I also watched a teaching by, oh, I had the name of the pastor here. Yeah, the title of the teaching was I'm Confused About My Calling, and it was by Pastor Stephen F. Yeah, Pastor Stephen. I hope you guys know him. I can't pronounce the surname, but it's Furgick. So he was also talking about the same thing, that your purpose is not necessarily this big thing, that that God has called me for this. That sometimes remember that God is a God of seasons. So sometimes God will reveal to you what you're supposed to be doing in this season. Oh, my battery is dying. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, so sometimes God will reveal it to you in terms of the season that you're in. Like I said, God is a God of seasons. So sometimes He will reveal to you what you're supposed to be doing now, not necessarily what He expects you to be doing in the future. So I just want to advise us that don't necessarily focus on this thing. When you watch TV, when you listen to motivations by these motivational speakers, they will tell you about a purpose driven life. But remember that we are not of this world. So I want to encourage us that stop stressing about this whole purpose thing. Focus on what God has called you to do now, because sometimes we even miss the point. We miss the now. There's a word that says, I think it's Matthew 6 verse 34, I'm not necessarily sure, that says that we should not worry about tomorrow. So I just want to encourage us that let's focus on what God wants us to do now. And most of the time, when you do what God wants you to do, what God wants me to do today, it's initially going to lead to this big purpose thing that God has called me. So the small little things that God asks us to do will eventually lead us to the purpose that He has called us to live. So guys, let's just hear God, trust God, and as God reveals to you. Sometimes it's just the smallest of things. Just saying, call a brother in the church or a sister in the church just to check up on them and all of that. God is preparing you for something, and that something is very big. So let's trust God and just each season allow Him to guide you. And I promise you that eventually you're going to get to that purpose that God has called you to do. So enjoy now. Stop worrying about tomorrow. Stop worrying about the future. Enjoy now and do what God has called you to do now. Oh, guys, I know that this video is just becoming too long, but thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. And comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and let's just talk. What else do you want me to talk about? It's a bit difficult for me, like I said, I'm still new and all of that, but yeah, please subscribe to my channel and comment and tell me what else you want us to talk about. If you have any suggestions of what I can do, if you have critics, I also take critics, because it's an opportunity for me to learn what you want me to add, what you want me to remove, and all of that. Thank you guys so much. Have a blessed Sunday.